those rates are still within 5-6K a week. Hey guys, it's the Bougie Nurse and welcome back to another video. So I get so many questions and comments and DMs about how much do nurses make? Is it worth it to go into a nursing career? I'm going to answer all the questions you guys have in regarding to the nurse's salary in this video. So let's get right into it. So there's this big misconception that nurses are rich. And the definition of rich varies for different people. But I want to know who started the rumor that nurses make all this money, because before I became a nurse, I too thought nurses made a ton of money. Boy, was I wrong. I honestly did not start seeing six figures till I became a travel nurse. Now, travel nursing, that is where the money is at. I won't argue with you about that one. Yes, there are ways for staff nurses to make a ton of money, but that's going to be through picking up overtime, having a PRN, or having a second full-time job. And in doing that, you're stretching yourself thin. You're not even going to be able to enjoy the money that you receive because you're going to be working all the time. I know one nurse who works 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. at the clinic, Monday through Friday, and then she works 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. during the week at her regular shift hospital job. So this nurse is grossing well over 160 to 180K a year. So while you can do those things to make more money as a nurse, you're going to barely get any sleep, barely get a chance to enjoy your money. You're essentially killing yourself. On your days off, you're going to be resting because you're always tired. So as a new nurse who doesn't do anything extra, just works their regular shifts for the year, they're not going to be seeing much money. So the average pay for a registered nurse in the United States in 2022, according to the Bureau of Statistics, is $77,600 or $37.31 an hour. Of course, this is going to be higher or lower depending on a variety of factors, but the first factor is going to be dependent on where you live. Higher cost of living states like Hawaii and California, those nurses, they're definitely going to be seeing six figures. I know the new grad nurses in California is going to come under this video and say, I'm a new grad nurse. I don't make 77K in California. I make 100K. You don't count, okay? Because you guys are on the higher end of the spectrum. It is very expensive to live in California, and they have to match that cost of living with the pay. Now, lower cost of living states are going to be making much less. States like Alabama and Arkansas, I looked up the salary of nurses in those states, and they're going to be ranging between 50 and 60K. Now, when Uncle Sam takes his cut, sheesh, it's not much left. So the second determining factor is going to be the type of degree you have. An ASN versus a BSN versus an MSN. The ASN is the Associate of Science in Nursing, and this is a 2-year degree. The BSN is a Bachelor's of Science in Nursing, and this is a 4-year degree. And the MSN is a Master's of Science in Nursing, and you have to have either your ASN or your BSN first before you can get your MSN. Let me tell ya, in New York, I got an extra 90 cents an hour for having a BSN degree. Yeah. Not even $1 extra an hour. 90 cents. So don't let anyone deter you from getting your ASN first, because that's what I did, and I got to start working as a nurse sooner, and while I was working as a nurse, I went back and did my bachelor's. So my ASN took me 16 months to complete, and my BSN took me 9 months to complete. So compare that to the traditional 4-year BSN degree. Is it really worth it? Now with the MSN degree, you are definitely going to be in a higher pay salary compared to the ASN or the BSN nurse. And this is because you are in a different knowledge bracket, honey. You are top tier, okay? And an MSN degree opens a lot more doors for different roles in nursing. You can get into nursing informatics. You can get into nursing education. So if you're looking for ways to make more money as a nurse, going back to school and furthering your education is definitely one of them. The third determining factor is going to be the amount of experience you have. So nurses across the board are going to be started at a lower salary compared to a nurse who has more experience. A nurse with 1 year of experience will be making less than a nurse with 10 years of experience within the same facility. So the more you get experience, the more money you'll be able to make. But then again, it does depend on the state. As a new grad in New York, I started at $44 an hour. And even with 5-6 years of experience, I know for a fact there's no hospital in Florida. If I were to start working next week, that's going to pay me $44 an hour as a staff nurse. I looked this up on Indeed just to be sure, but I could be wrong. Maybe there are hospitals out there that's paying that in the state of Florida. I wouldn't take $44 an hour though. So if you guys know a hospital in Florida that's going to be paying at least $60 an hour, drop it down in the comments below. So as a new nurse gets more experience, they'll be able to make more money. If you have a certain salary in mind, what you can do is look up the facilities in your area on Glassdoor to see what the nurses are making at that hospital. Because even when hospitals are within a mile of each other, 3 blocks away from each other, they won't all be paying the same. Even during my 3rd year as a nurse, I wanted to get level 1 trauma experience. And the first hospital I worked at, I don't even know what trauma level they were. I don't even know if they had a trauma level. But I took a pay cut to work at a public hospital because I wanted to get that level 1 trauma experience. I wanted to be a more well-rounded, a more seasoned nurse. Even though those 2 hospitals were about 5 minutes away from each other, they were paying significantly different. The 4th determining factor is going to be what specialty you work. And as of 2022, the highest paying RN specialty is, I'm going to let you guys take a guess. And it's not critical care. ICU is still in the top 3, but it is number 3. Endoscopy comes as number 2, and OR, the operating room nurse, is number 1, which was not a shock to me because even with travel nursing and as the rates are going down, IR, cath lab, and OR is still pretty elevated. Those rates are still within 5-6K a week as I've been seeing lately. And if you are a nurse who's looking to switch specialties, or you're a nursing student and you don't know what specialty you want to work, see what the roles and responsibilities are for those specialties and see if that is something that may be of interest to you. The 5th determining factor will be based on what shift you work. Night shift nurses typically get paid more than day shift nurses. The incentives are as great as $4 to $5 more an hour, and that makes a big difference because over time it does add up. And this is because night shift is usually harder to staff. You're essentially working outside of your normal body functioning hours. When everyone else is sleeping, you're awake. And if you have family and kids, when your kids go to school or when your husband goes to work, you'll be sleeping because you have to be up to work at night. So essentially you'll be turning your life upside down. So if you can handle turning your life upside down for a few extra coins, then maybe you can look into getting a night shift position. I'm a night shift nurse. I've worked night shift for the past 5 years. My first year and a half as a nurse, I worked day shift, and I worked in a clinic from 7 to 3, which was fine. But working the hospital, I don't like working day shift. Day shift is just too busy. It's too many people. It's too many different doctors. It just moves way too fast for me. Night shift is busy, but it's a different type of busy. Okay, I don't mind when my patients are busy, but when I have 5 different doctors calling and I have case management to update and I have managers and supervisors and patient families, night shift is just, it is just better for me personally. But for someone else, they like day shift. So it all depends on you as a person. The last and final factor, which was a major surprise to me, the woman was too stunned to speak, is the gender of the nurse. Even though nursing is a predominantly female profession, One study from the University of California, San Francisco found that male nurses were earning $5,000 more a year than female nurses at the same facility working the same job. Tell me that ain't crazy. So y'all really gonna pay these few cats more than us, more than the girls in a female dominated profession? I really feel like that should be illegal. Like, ain't no way that's not a form of discrimination. I don't know, but that was a major revelation to me. So as you can see, the nurse's salary very greatly dependent on a lot of different factors. And as long as you are willing to work hard and learn, you'll be able to increase your salary year after year. Now, there are people who go into nursing for the money. And I want to be the first to tell you there is absolutely nothing wrong with having that mindset, because it is a job at the end of the day. And with that being said, I'm going to tell you guys a story about a nursing professor that I had. So I had a professor during my ASN program who was extremely knowledgeable. Bedside manner skills immaculate, critical thinking skills on point, clinical skills up to par, okay? She could put an IV in a heart stick patient with her eyes closed. She knew a patient was about to crash before it even happened. And this is what I witnessed with this professor on the unit. And guess why she became a nurse? Her and her husband were going through divorce, and she just felt lost in life. She didn't have much of a career because she was a stay-at-home mom. And her friends was like, look, why don't you go into nursing? It's a stable career with a stable income. And even though it wasn't her passion in the beginning, if you are admitted into the hospital, I promise you, you would want her as your nurse. So that's just a tip for people who want to get into nursing but are unsure. I love being a nurse and I love this career. Yes, it gets hard and it is difficult, and I don't want to make it seem like it's all fun in the sun, because it can be overwhelming and there are times where you feel like, why did I get in this career? But the beauty of this career is that it is super flexible. You can do anything with a nursing degree. You can work with people who have mental illness. You can work with babies. You can work with the older population. You can work with kids. You can work from home. You can open up your own business as a nurse. You can become a nursepreneur and have a aesthetic business. This is why nursing is an amazing career. You can literally do anything with a nursing degree. And don't let anyone tell you that if you don't work in a hospital, you're not a real nurse. Once you graduate nursing school and you pass your nursing boards, you are a real nurse, okay? Period, point blank. And if you are financially responsible, live within your means, and know how to budget, you'll definitely be able to live comfortably as a nurse. So I hope this video was able to provide you with some insight on how much money nurses make and how to make more money as a nurse. If you are a fellow nurse with some ideas and want to share it with your other nurses and nursing students, comment it down below. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss another video. Thank you guys for watching. Bye.